Yeah. We made it. Okay, let me see if everybody's still here. Everybody being Helen? Yes, and I'm even getting an email saying that I'm live. That's good. Let me close my email so we don't have all these noises. That was quite stressful. um Let me see, because this is my first time doing a live stream on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in. I'm trying to figure out where I can see who's here and how this works. I can see there's 5 people, so that looks good. 4 people have given a thumbs up for the fact that we're finally live, probably that we finally got a visual. Lisbeth's here, Helen's here, Olaf's here. He's actually standing here. You want to come say hi? No. He's probably going to get dinner going. While I have my drink here with you. Oh, wow. Oh, this is new. I'm at the cabin. I don't know if you can recognize where I am. I decided to come sit here and just out of the sun enjoy the last rays of sun and the vibe here, which is so different from our garden. Our guests left this morning and the next ones are coming tomorrow, so I can spend the evening here on the deck. Let me see. Hello, Olaf. He just left. And Helen, you're from England. And Lisbeth, where are you from? I'd love to know. Yes, I don't even know where to start. Um, and this is probably also going to be posted after this as a video. So if you're new here or if you've been following me and maybe don't really know who I am and what all of this is about and what this channel is about, that is actually something that I wanted maybe to talk a little bit about in this live stream and tell you maybe a little bit more about me. And if you have any questions, maybe even about France or life in France, just be sure to ask any questions you may have. Lisbeth is saying she, hold on. Lisbeth, you're from the Netherlands then, Gorredijk. I have no clue where that is. And you're missing Olaf's vlogs. Yeah, so my husband Olaf, I basically share our life here and what we do and just things about France. And my husband Olaf, and I've talked about him many times and also always share his channel as well in my descriptions. He films the renovation works. We're renovating an old farmhouse. But he's a little better. He's got a small injury from all of the building works. He's resting, which is really good. And as always, when he's not doing the physical building works, we're designing things. We've got a lot of choices to make still and design plans to think about. So that is what he's doing while he's waiting for his arm and elbow to get better. Yeah, so what, I don't know. I don't want this to be like this kind of one way chat that all of my videos are. Let me start with that because I'm starting to rattle because I don't really know, or ramble, what is the word, or maybe both are a word. Because I'm just a bit nervous. I've done this many times for my real work, but this is new. And what I feel is that when I wasn't really paying a lot of attention to the subscriber count. And then I noticed there's 15,000. And I just sat with that yesterday just to try to understand what that means. That means that 15,000 people, most of them, I don't know, have at some point decided to hit that subscribe button because something in the videos spoke to them. And I'm all about real human connections, and I feel YouTube is a very one way, unless you go to the comment section. And I just felt this honest desire to understand who all of you are. Like, who are these 15,000 people? And what's the origin of their love for France? Because I can only imagine that if you like my videos, you love spending time in France virtually or for real. So I wanted to just get to know you. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me what's so wonderful about France for you? Like, why? We obviously share that love, and there's a lot to say about the pros and the cons of life in France, obviously. Um, Let me turn the camera a bit because this looks awkward, and I'm just so curious why what makes France so appealing to you? I don't know if that's something that you want to talk about. I see there's 29 viewers, and it looks like there's only 2 people commenting, but let me see. Lisbeth, you have a camper van and you go to France a lot. Oh, yes. And the wonderful thing about France, I believe it compared to the Netherlands, is that there are so many more spots where you can just park your van and spend the night. I don't know, you've probably already discovered that. And I actually have a really nice book. It's in the cabin about van life en France. That's what it's called, van life en France in French. And it talks about all the rules and all the good places to stay and really, really nice tips and tricks for traveling through France in a camper van, which is, I think, ever since I'm using my van that way, such a wonderful way to explore France. And it's not something you can do in the Netherlands. You can't just park anywhere. So that's nice. And Helen, tell me about your love of France and where that comes from. But then before, sorry guys, let me just get a drink. I want to thank you for being here. Maybe to you, you just hit that subscribe button without really thinking about it, but just imagining that you're sharing something just because you like sharing it, or because sometimes I even think, oh, there might be people that don't have the chance to walk in this forest today, or that don't have the chance to go admire this gorgeous view. I'm so grateful every day for living in such a beautiful country, living in such a beautiful region, having the kind of lifestyle that enables me to just go admire a view or take a beautiful hike in the vineyards in the middle of the day. And sometimes I just tell myself when I'm filming, or sometimes my boys will say, are you still filming? Why are you filming all the time? And then I tell them, just imagine living somewhere else, or imagine something you really want to achieve in your life, and somebody else has that and is sharing that with you, so you can enjoy that kind of life. Would you not like that too? So it's hard to imagine where all of you are, and that all of you are watching. Sometimes I'm thinking such boring stuff, like you're watching me piling wood, or you're watching me cleaning my van or driving somewhere. Oh, let me see. New York is still beautiful. Hello, New York. um, oh, there's more people commenting now. Wow. For me, I am well acquainted with France since my mother was French and we visited often. I love the countryside, the history, and I enjoy watching your lifestyle. Wow. Wow. It's I think such a blessing to have parents that can broaden your world. And if having a French mom, she probably spoke, maybe she didn't, some people don't, but hopefully spoke French with you. And I think it's been so interesting for my boys as well to grow up in another culture and then have it's so enriching. It's difficult also, but it's something that I'm very grateful for, that I can give that to my boys. New York, hello. I hope you're in New York as well. I love your design aesthetic. Thank you. What is your background? Oh, I'll answer that one. I've read Helen's answer. I've only visited France a few times, but I love watching and seeing the towns and countryside. And now that my daughter has a camper van, Helen, you can come here and stay in all these gorgeous places. Um, yeah, I'm just suggesting that to you. Yes, but New York, I don't know what your name is. I think you're from New York, is still beautiful. I'm intrigued by the name. Um, so, well, hello, I'm Marloes. I'm a multi potentialite, or if you've read the book, um, Refuse to Choose by Barbara Sure, you know that my focus is going everywhere all at once, and I find so many things so hugely fascinating. So I'm fascinated by that name, and I want to know what that's all about. But my background, you're going to laugh. My background is actually, I studied French when I was 18. No, when I was 18, I studied human resources management. And after a year, found out that I had a very idealistic view of helping people and helping people feel happy at work. And it was not at all about that. And then I just asked myself, what would make me happy? Like, what would I enjoy spending most of my time on? And the first thing that came to mind was French language. And so I went to university and studied French language and culture. Spent 5 years in university doing that. And I'll be completely honest, I don't know what I've learned, but it wasn't a lot. So when I moved to France, of course, I spoke French, but not the way that real French people speak French. And I've learned so much more from living here, maybe only 6 months, than I've learned in 5 years of studying French. It was more artistic, cultural, in terms of like poetry and literature. And it wasn't about the culture in the sense that how do people actually live and what are the habits and what are the typical French things. So that's what I did, and then somehow ended up in the business, in the corporate world, investment banking, private equity, venture capital, strategic consulting, in recruitment and HR roles, back to where I once started. And then the one thing led to another. Had a couple of jobs in corporate and then started my own business as a career coach in 2007, which grew to, but I don't want to talk a lot about work. But that grew into the business that I have today. So I have zero background in design. And I will be very honest, it is hugely stressful for me, honestly, to design all these spaces. Like it feels like a playground. There is nothing. Olaf, as we say in Dutch, has golden hands, which means he can do almost anything. What I think of, like I can imagine and show him a couple of pictures and he'll do the research and how to make it. And then but it's almost overwhelming to know that anything really is possible with his talent and his perseverance as well, and his capacities, and just his, I don't know what's the word, being that the DIY guy. And then he turns to me going, what do you want this to look like? And I'm like, ooh, I actually have a scoop that I'll keep for the end of this video. Oh, because we're getting so many blah, blah, comments. So that is my background. I studied French and HR and business. I worked as a business coach for about 5-6 years as well. So yeah, long answer. Becky, hello from California. Oh, good. I'm so happy that everybody's tuning in. I was sitting here just a half an hour ago or so. Bonsoir. That's the neighbors. I was sitting here about half an hour ago thinking, oh, nobody's going to show up. Like, oh. Anyway, you enjoy watching my daily life in France. You take the time to appreciate the beauty that surrounds you. It reminds me to pause. Yes, and that is what France taught me. I did a whole post about that on LinkedIn, I believe, saying that everything takes long. I'm still waiting for my van to be fixed. For those who've seen that video, that was end of August, that my van broke down when I was in Normandy. It is still in Normandy, and I tried to call them today and they still have no answer. So that's probably in the end, when I've got it back, it will have taken a month, and in the Netherlands, it will take maybe a week. But France is really teaching me like everything is slow, and people know, and people complain about it, but in the end, they have this incredible capacity, or incredible, that's not the word, I'm trying to find the word. They're able to let it go. And that's not something that I've learned in the Netherlands. You don't let it go. Like you put your teeth in it, as we say, and then you cling to it until it's fixed or done or solved or accomplished. And the French are like, but like, c'est la vie. Yeah. And then do you want to drink, you know? Anyway, another toast to 34 of you being here live, which I had not expected. And thank you so much for sharing about your life as well. And you wanted to know, Michelle, New York, Michelle, why we chose Burgundy. Yes, we are from New York City. We chose Burgundy because I was going to share my story about how we ended up here, which is quite interesting. And we chose Burgundy because we initially didn't want to move to France. We wanted to have a holiday home. And this is a region that I visited in 1998 for the first time and fell in love. There's a whole beautiful story, by the way, that I'm trying to make a video on sometime. That's, well, I won't say too much about that, but I met someone, and I actually met that exact same person the day that we bought this house, and I had no clue when we were looking for houses that I was this close to that place and where that person lived. And Burgundy was just somewhere, I don't know, I've always felt very much at home here while coming here on holidays. Maybe been here only 5 or 6 times. And this is where we found the house, and it was like 6-7 hour drive to where we lived in the Netherlands, so it was doable to, after a school day, which ends at 3 or 2:30 in the Netherlands, get in the car for a weekend, for example, and drive here. So that was initially the plan. And it wasn't until we moved here, so we bought the house, and it wasn't until we actually spent time here that I realized that we were so close to the vineyards and to Beaune, which was just a gift, a surprise even to me. I'm so happy with where the exact location where our house is. Yeah, so that's why we chose Burgundy, and a lot of people that come here fall in love with it. We notice that all of our guests, most of them book 2 nights or 3, and they all say, oh, we should have stayed longer. There is so much to explore and discover here. Sorry, I'm moving my table all the time. And it has so much cultural, like the good life, like Burgundy equals the good life, and then everything that comes with that. So whatever your definition is, whether it's slowing down, enjoying nature, enjoying good food and wine, taking the time to talk about food and wine. Oh gosh, that is just so fascinating. And it's more than my heart could ever desire. That was the big surprise at really after moving here, finding out that it was the lifestyle that was so much better even than we hoped. Richard here, and let me see. Great living in the French countryside. Yes, I even have friends, you might not believe it, Richard, who said, I could never live like that. But I think as soon as you realize that you just have to organize your life a little differently, living in the countryside is wonderful. And if by any, I was going to say by any chance, but what I mean, if you hear me say things that make you think, oh, that'd be interesting if you could talk a little bit more about that, please write that down, and then I could maybe do a video about that sometime, because I'm honestly just sharing my daily life. I think that is sort of the promise of this channel, but I could also do more thematic. No, I have a theme for a video. Talking about themes, we speak 3 languages every day, and then we mix them all up. So I sometimes struggle to find words. Let me see. daydreamer. You adore people who are restoring old houses, especially the stone ones. So do I. That was always our biggest dream. That was also the one criteria that we were when we were looking for a house. It needs to be an old stone, so en pierre apparente house. And the funny thing is, Olaf found this house, and our hangar. I don't know if you've seen that video with the ugly wall and the color I didn't like. That was red bricks before, and the picture was taken from the one picture, like the front page picture of the realtor's website, had that ugly red bricks hangar. And I was like, oh, is that the red house? I don't want to go look at the red house. And then Olaf kept saying, oh, but I think it's really nice. We need to go there. And so he kind of convinced me to go here. And it wasn't until I stood here that I was like, there's something about this house that I really like. But honestly, the story of why we chose this house, you probably have had a moment in your life where you find yourself in front of somebody or in a place or in a house maybe that you're looking for, and you just know, and you cannot really tie all the things together, or you can't say why. You just feel this is it, because this house was nothing like any house I'd ever dreamed of. Like, it wasn't at all what I had in mind. But we set foot on the property and we just both felt we need to be here. There's a whole more spiritual story to it that not all of you might be open to, so I might not share that straight away, but that is really why we bought it. And it wasn't until we actually lived here for a longer time that I started really seeing how much pierre apparente we actually have. And as we gradually changed the house, the interior and the exterior, and especially the garden, it's starting to look more like the house I had in mind. And I hadn't seen it the day that we bought it. But since it was a holiday home, I wasn't too specific. I was like, oh, this just feels right. Let's do it, because our home is in the Netherlands and that needs to be all right. This just needs to be right for the holidays. Interesting how life goes, right? Saskia is here from the Netherlands. As she's writing in Dutch, you like vegetarian food? Yes, so do we. And that is a rare thing here in Burgundy. Like, a lot of friends that we have are vegetarian actually, but it's not the norm, and especially not in restaurants. So if you ask for vegetarian food, they'll be like, let me think what I can do. And vegan is like, I only know one restaurant where you can eat vegan food, and then maybe one or two Japanese restaurants that could figure something out for you, but everything else is difficult. So this is also why we decided to start cooking vegetarian and vegan meals for guests, because sometimes we've had guests arrive here on a Sunday from the Netherlands. No, on a holiday, a French holiday, and they were from the Netherlands. So I wrote them up front, you won't be able to do groceries here. This is France. Like, it's not the Netherlands. Like, shops won't be open. And they forgot about it, and they arrived here and they didn't have any food with them, and all the stores were closed, and they were vegan, and so they asked for a restaurant, and I said, forget it, I'll just cook you something. And I made a really nice lentil soup for them because else they would have starved to death. Yes, the bread is actually the easiest recipe. Lisbeth and Saskia are talking about the bread. I don't know if you've seen the baguette recipe. It is too easy. Please don't think that is difficult. Treat yourself to proper, real French baguettes. I don't know about you, but I don't understand why Dutch bakers don't make that bread when it's so easy. I've always been trying to find that kind of bread, and there's a couple of French bakeries in the Netherlands now, but they weren't there 20 years ago. But I think our guest that are coming tomorrow is a baker from Belgium, so I'll ask him why he doesn't do that in Belgium, because I don't think he does. Helen says, you're making a great team together. We definitely do, Olaf and I. So grateful for it. What's my favorite French dish? Rebecca, you're here too. The copper silt at home. Can I just do a little promo talk for you? Because I really love what you're doing, Rebecca. The copper silt. Is that how you pronounce it? Silt? Yes. Or is it Celt? Oh gosh, here we go again. They bought a house and doing a hugely a big renovation project as well. And you've only started sharing a little bit of what you've done, and it already looks amazing. And so please do also follow Rebecca. You won't be disappointed. And I'm going to ask you, by the way, Rebecca, if I can come film when you're finished to show your house. Okay, see, this is me. Thank you for sticking with me and for even enjoying this. I was going to say you can't post pictures, but if you can, post your drink. I'm having grenadine with sparkling water. As you know, I live in France. I don't drink wine. Another thing that makes living in France a bit more complicated. But people are very used to it now. Like it's more common for people to not drink, so I don't feel bad about it anymore. My favorite French dish. Oh gosh, where do we start? Like, post your favorite French dishes, please, everybody that's here live or watching this in a replay, so we can inspire each other. I love French baguettes. Like I said, I don't understand why you can't find them everywhere around the world. I was going to say bœuf bourguignon, even though I'm vegetarian, but what I love is the simmering, like a mijoté, what is that word? Like one of those le creuset casserole and then cocotte. I don't know, I'm thinking what the word is in English. A big pan, cast iron, with all kinds of good stuff, herbs and wine, and then just leaving that on the stove for 2-3 hours. And there is a lady, and I think she's an American, Sarla Terps. Let me just write it down because I'm not going to get that out of my mouth. Because the thing, she has a Dutch last name, but she isn't Dutch. So she's American. So maybe her ancestors are Dutch. And she has a vegan cookbook, and she shares a vegan recipe for bœuf bourguignon that I've made, and it's amazing. And I just love that kind of dishes because, again, it's the kind of dish that takes time, and it's almost a meditation to be cooking that way. Like in the Netherlands, I would just cook something quick at work until 6. You eat a lot earlier in the Netherlands. Kids would come home, they'd be hungry, and it was just, I love taking a lot of time. And I love that in France, food in general could take up like 50% of your time. Like thinking about what to eat, talking about people about food, getting the groceries, preparing the food, eating the food, and talking with the people that you're eating the food with, and then afterwards talking about how good it was and where you got that exquisite, I don't know, pumpkin or that kind of stuff is just fascinating to me. Greetings from Honduras. Oh, and then something is moving. My wife and I watch your videos all the time, wishing for a calmer life, which we hope to achieve in the near future. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Thank you. Did it take long to find your ideal property? It looks perfect. Well, it looks perfect because, and that is maybe just raise your hand if it is your dream to maybe get a property in France at some point, or if you're actually already looking for that, or maybe even have it. We first had the idea in 2015 and just played with it for a couple of years, not sure whether that was a real wish or whether it was just something that we thought we'd liked. And we just started looking online, and we visited 2 houses in 2015 just to get an idea, and that was in Burgundy as well, by the way, just to get a feel for it. And then we just accidentally, it's a long story, found this house in 2018 and drove here really with no intention of buying it, and ended up buying it. So I think we've seen about 6 houses in total, because we visited 3 when we visited this one. And like I said, it was nothing like what I thought I wanted. but we saw the potential, and we also wanted to take on a project like that. We really felt like taking something and turning it into something really beautiful with all of our creativity and all of our dreams and determination and energy and enthusiasm. So I think finding the perfect house is more challenging than just finding a perfect location and a lot of potential, if that's what you are willing to do, of course. So it didn't take very long, but we didn't rush either, and we just found it online through a real estate agent. Um, Marco is in Dutch and Swedish. Hey, and in English. You love to see how we make living in France workable. Well, yes, and I mean, I am a can-do person. I feel if something is calling you and you really feel you're meant to do it, you can make it work. It just maybe takes a little more creativity, or it takes courage most of the time to take the decisions that are needed to get where you want to be. And most people, that's in my coaching experience, most people that don't get where they say they want to go is because they don't take the decisions that and the actions that are required to get there. Because why? Well, because most decisions, definitely the hard or tough ones, take a lot of courage. They require a lot of the courage and determination. And if I would tell you the whole story of how we were able to live this life, it's we've taken a lot of risks and let go of a lot of stuff that felt secure, like that kept us secure, but they also kept us stuck where we were. Um, so yes, if I can be an example to people showing that you can change your life and lifestyle, I'd be happy to take that job, Marco. um, Rebecca, you say you recognize the feeling you get when you feel the house. Yes. Un coup de cœur. Yeah. Well, it wasn't a coup de cœur, because a coup de cœur would actually mean like love at first sight. It was definitely not that. It was just, we need to be here. It was, we were being called to come be the keeper of this place and come live here, and we'll make it work. That was honestly how I really felt it. Carolyn is in California. Your husband's Dutch with French last name. Yes, Lunel. I was looking at that. That's not Dutch. And you're part French. Wow. Interesting. And Marco is also following Olaf's channel. Yes, you like his humorous comments. It's interesting because a lot of people like Olaf's humor. And he's from Amsterdam. For those who don't know the Netherlands, the people from Amsterdam have a very, that's like a whole culture in itself. And it took me a couple of years to understand it and play along with his father and his grandfather. And they even have specific words that don't exist in the Dutch language. So that was that's a whole other story. How do you do your work in the Netherlands from France? I work online. So I work online. Maybe that's enough for, because if I enter into all the details, it might be, unless you really want to know the details, then people can write that, and then I could do, we've done a video on it, Marco, on the Dutch channel. Celt, yes, the copper Celt. Yeah, see, I figured it wasn't Celt, it was Celt, which is very unusual with a C. Anyway, interesting. It's what makes learning a language difficult, is all the exceptions. Let me see what everybody's typing, and someone's passing, so I'm super distracted. And I didn't want to make this too long. Like I'm rambling. I don't know if you feel like we're having a good time. And I don't know if you have snacks, because I only really have this, and I didn't bring any snacks. Oh, yes. I'll definitely come your way, Rebecca, and film your home, or just spend some time together. I'd love to meet you too. And it looks so gorgeous. Your house looks so gorgeous already. Yeah, people are talking like onion soup, ratatouille, stews. Yes, Saskia, we're definitely on the same page with everything that's stewy, like simmery, stewy. Oh, I'm dreaming of our new kitchen. Well, the kitchen you've seen is our holiday home. This is a holiday cottage. But we're working currently on our own kitchen, and we're getting a cook. What is that called? English native people, type how I'm supposed to say that. It is a cooker, but you burn. It's a wood cooker, wood burning cooker. I don't know what that's called. It's a cuisinière à bois. So it is everything, an oven and a hot plate, but you make a fire in it, and that's how you cook. That thing. We're getting that in our big kitchen, and I'm dreaming of all my cast iron sitting on it all day. And everything smells good. That's a very romantic image I have, but it is the life that I want for me and my family. And so I'm working on getting that. Coco vin, yes, you could find plenty of that here. French cheeses, we're in this section. This is all the answers of share your favorite meal dish with me. Plat gratin dauphinois, yes. I love that so much. That's just potatoes that you don't cook, and you thinly slice them. You don't rinse them, which is very important because there's something in the potatoes. I don't know what that's called. Zetmeel in Dutch. And then you add hot milk and cream and pepper and salt to it. And then you sit it in the oven for 3 hours, I think. And it gives, oh, I am going to cook that in one of the videos. We need to cook that together. That would be so good. And crème brûlée. Yes. Those who know the movie Amélie, Le Fabuleux Destin d'Amélie Poulain, as I think the official title, where she takes her spoon and cracks the what is that? The brûlée part of the crème brûlée. Saskia Post says gevulde bol courgettes. You should share the recipe with us. I've tried to make them. This is the round zucchini that you stuff with something, and I didn't really get them. They weren't really nice, I think. Quiche Lorraine. Daydreamers going. You can't stay any longer. Thank you for being here. I think you're already gone. It's midnight in the Philippines, Donna. Wow. So happy that you're joining us. From your bed, maybe, but it's good to see you. Somebody wrote a message and deleted it. Let me see what else we have. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to catch up. Mushroom bourguignon, yes. That is what most people do because the mushrooms give such an earthy flavor. I love it. I love it. Let me see. I think you're so brave to taking off in your van and driving all over. Yes. Can I tell something like really fun? I don't know if I can talk about it. I think I can. I actually received an email from. I'll say the name in the video. They're going to send me a dash cam so I can film from the van, because many of you have said you like when I drive in the countryside, which I always love when YouTubers do that. Like, it gives me the feeling that I can see what their country looks like. So I will be sharing more of that. So it will be safer for me because now the boys either have to film and it's annoying to them, or it's sitting on one of those stand things that move, and then you get this really shaky image. So I'm going to try that out in one of the next vlogs. Wood burning stove, is that the word? A wood burning stove? Yeah, but I also call our normal wood burner a wood burning stove. So then maybe I shouldn't call that a wood burning stove. You have a dream to live in France, but leaving my family would be too hard. Yeah. Sometimes people ask us, do you miss your family? And actually our family visits all the time. And it's the benefit that we have of being only 6-7 hours away. You literally jump in the car and you'll be there in a few hours, which makes it less hard, I think. Let me see. In Ireland, we call the cuisine à bois a range. Yeah, I think that is what they say in the US as well. I think that la canche, at least, I refer to as a range. Anyway, it's It's not easy to understand all these languages. An oven. Yeah, it is. It has an oven. Potato starch. Yes. It also helps to thicken the cream in the gratin. Oh, it's such a wonderful dish. We're just talking about it. I haven't decided what to eat tonight, and I have nothing that I've prepared or planned. And that will take too long, probably. Maybe tomorrow. Anyway, maybe, I don't know, we're still 44 of us watching. It would be, I don't know, I'm just trying to think about, I just wanted to spend time this. Okay, let's start over. This honestly to me feels wonderful. It feels like I'm connected to you. I feel very connected when I read your comments, and there's a couple of subscribers really that comment all the time. And I just want you to know that I see that, and I notice that, and I see that it's you, and that you're always here, and that you're always commenting. And I know a lot of people watch without commenting, because I hardly ever comment on a video. Even when I like it, then, you're busy, you move on to the next thing. But please do know that if you commented, it means a lot to me. It's like the tiny way that I can feel that we're connected, or that I can feel that we're sharing this same love for France, French food, old houses, nature, all of those good things. So thank you if you've been one of those people, and especially thank you to you, all of you who are tuning in tonight, or to this morning, or wherever you are right now. I love feeling connected mostly. And YouTube videos is wonderful, but it's me talking to you. So it feels good to feel connected. So thank you for being here. I could talk for hours. We could do this more often, and maybe talk about a specific topic. And I've also had some crazy ideas of doing like live cooking sessions, for example, on, I don't know, a Sunday, or and then just picking a dish, and all of us are going to be in our kitchens, and I'll do a live and show you what I'm doing. I'm not a professional cook. I'm just thinking of things that I like, and things that make my life, what is the word? I think taking time to cook makes me feel happier about my life. It makes me feel like I appreciate food more. It makes me feel like I appreciate this time with my family more. But today my son was cooking. He made baked oatmeal this morning, or baked oats, and then a curry, and I don't know, he's been cooking all day. He's really happy. He's 14. He's really happy with the new kitchen. Everybody's replying. Let me see. People are talking. We are all connected in our love of France and your experiences. Just love how you see life. Yes, and I love to feel that connected, Carolyn. So I'm looking for ways to maybe feel more connected, or have more of this community vibe. So I'm thinking of interesting things we could do together, to get more of that, like an hour per month or something, or escaping to France virtually by doing something that makes us happy, and that's France related, which can be anything really. So I was just thinking of that. If that might be a nice thing, let me know what you think. Mohammed, you've been 1 week in Autonville in Metz, in Lorraine. Yeah, that's not too far from here. Else, you and Olaf, and it's oh, you decided to turn your life around, and you hope to live in France within 2 years. That is exciting. Wow. Hold on, my souris, what is that? Mouse is on the. Thank you for the congratulations, Roxane. Yes, très bonne idée. The cooking, you mean? Isa or Isa? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Good luck. That's a nice name. Yeah, just playing with some ideas. Maybe I'll just let it sit for a while and see what we can come up with. Yes, that's it. It's almost an escape to France. Yes, well, that was one of my intentions, really. I did a video in the first lockdown when I didn't have my channel yet for my work. So I still work as an alignment coach, if that makes sense to you. And then I run this business with, it's a long story, with my colleagues in the Netherlands. But then I have this little side thing of doing some coaching myself still. And I decided to, when everybody was in lockdown and locked in their homes, and I was just imagining being in an apartment building somewhere with no way to get out. And I mean, I literally walk that way. There's the forest down the street, and I walked there and recorded a small video, and then just to talk about, bringing some, I don't know, things that I was thinking about, sharing some of my feelings. And then the next day I walked all the way there to the other end of the forest and saying, this is a nature walk, and I'm just recording this so you can watch this and hear the birds and hear the wind in the trees and feel maybe this, because you might not be able to go out like I do. And that's really how it started, and how it got me thinking about how can I share, like people couldn't travel to France, how can I share a little bit of France so that people who miss it, and I know because I love France as much as they do, can have this experience of experiencing France without actually coming here. So that is one of the intentions that I have. Marco says, I do not comment. Yes. And you're listening while you're cooking a pumpkin carrot soup. Yes. Well, it suddenly, fall came so fast, didn't it? I'm here with a blanket because it's sunny, but it's chilly in the evenings and in the mornings. Oh, I can talk forever. Emmeline, you're saying you spent a lot of time in Burgundy as a child. Is that the same Emmeline that talked about is it your aunt having a house here and you spend your summers here? Cooking videos. No better cooks than French people at home. Well, just that I'm not French. You loved it with your French friends. Yes, I think it's one of the things I love about France as well. People take time to cook, like home cooked meals. Yes, it's really something that I always stressed about a bit, cooking for people, and I've just totally reconnected with my love of taking time to cook. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's just you put a lot of love in it, and that's what it's all about. So we're creating this big kitchen with a living area so that I can really be around the people that I cook for, and we can spend time in the kitchen, like basically spend time in the kitchen all day. That is the intention. Cooking up something, or yeah. Ah, you really like the small villages and the time in nature. Well, that will definitely be sharing a lot of that in coming videos as well. Rick, there you are. One of the true, what is it? What is that word? What is that word? Well, we see you all the time, but that's not what you know what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to find more appreciation like words. But um, next time, try to bring Olaf and his sense of humor. Well, I'll tell you, Rick, because I know you follow Olaf. I said to Olaf, maybe I shouldn't say this on my channel, but I'm going to do it anyway. I said, you've said to people that you're going to take a break with your elbow. And a lot of people, he posts every Friday at 7. A lot of people, for them, it's the start of their weekend with you. And now you're saying you won't be here until further notice. And you said 2 weeks. And he said, oh, did I say 2? Yes, you said 2. Yeah, I know I said 2 weeks. I said, well, 2 weeks in people's minds is like 2 weeks. And they're gone. That's like, it's 2 weeks past now. So at least check in with them and tell them how you're doing. I said, can you not do an apéro? And that's how I figured I'd do an apéro. But you can do an apéro at Friday at 7 and just chat a little bit about what you're doing. And then I said, I could. But it's, he has his own way of doing his own things, and he didn't want to come for this, Rick. So yeah. But he can definitely he doesn't like to talk in English. He considered turning some of his videos to English. and then, you know, it's not what he wants to do. And I think he needs to respect and acknowledge what he wants with his channel. And he's focused on a build, really. And like you said, it brings for hilarious translations with the auto translate that Google, I think, does on his videos. You're from Arizona. I love watching our channel. Such a peaceful life, albeit busy. Yes, it's busier than I expected, but it's nice to be busy when it's earthy things. You know, I'm busier than ever. My mom's laughing because she said, I've never seen you work this much, because I was in a very comfortable position with the business that I created for myself. I didn't ask a lot of time. So really didn't, I kind of retired in end of 2020, early 2021. And then we started this business with the cabin and all the other projects. And all of a sudden I'm super busy, but it makes me very, very happy. I can only say that. It makes me feel so happy to just spend so much time weeding and taking care of the house. And, oh, there's no bread. I need to bake a bread. And, yes, yes. Even driving to the post office through the little countryside roads country roads is nice. Sorry, time to hang up. I'll comment more on your videos. I haven't, and it does help your channel. It does help my channel. You're right. But it also does help me to get some feedback, honestly, on sometimes the YouTube algorithm it's not sometimes, it is a total mystery. I cannot honestly not tell you why some videos get recommended more, you know, and it's guesswork. I don't know what you like unless you tell me, and I will always share what I feel I want to share, of course. But it's nice to get some feedback on what you want to see more of. I'd also been thinking about asking what places in France you want to go visit, but you can't, so I can go there, giving me a good excuse to go somewhere. That kind of stuff. I just love feeling connected. Katrine loved the video of your bike ride and hearing about your grandfather. Oh, yes. Bless him. Yes. I love that bike ride too. That was so much easier than I expected at 35 degrees Celsius and 2-3 hours biking in the sun, but it was wonderful. And it did make me think of my grandfather. Yes. Onze zoon is helemaal geïnspireerd door Olaf. Saskia posted her son or their son was inspired by Olaf's renovations and bought a house that he's renovating. That's interesting. Nice. Wow. Catherine lives in South Louisiana in a very rich culture of Cajun French. Oh, yeah. They speak sort of a slang French here. Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't know what kind of French that is then. That's interesting. I do know that I don't understand Canadian French. Well, I understand it, but that's a really strong accent. Sundays are for family gathering and slow cooking. Yes, so that is the French element, French part of that culture. Busy but content, Helen, definitely. Donna, I can totally relate on the happiness the country gives. We also own a private farm here in the Philippines and decided to make our weekends house, our permanent house. Yes, so many people, I think, have maybe, I don't know, I was going to use the word been forced, but probably has been invited to think about what they truly want during the past 2 years, 3 years almost. And I think that's good. I think that's the one thing it brought us is not taking our life for granted and not taking our freedoms for granted, not taking our health for granted, just understanding that I sometimes just think that we don't understand how truly magical life is. Like just the fact that we're alive and the fact that this body knows what to do and it's keeping us alive. It's allowing us to go places. It's allowing us to see, feel, hear, touch, smell. Do we really understand how magical and precious that is until we lose it, right? I don't know if I've ever spoken about it on the channel, but I've lost I haven't lost my smell and taste. I lost it when I had COVID, and then it came back normally. And now it is 6 months later. It's, well, since a couple of months, and that was 6 months after I fully recovered from COVID, that my smell and taste is completely distorted. So, especially when you like cooking as much as I do, it is very challenging. And it makes me realize that, that is something that I've been taking for granted, which which you shouldn't, because it's not until you lose it in some way that you realize how important it is for how you experience life, and how important it is for, for example, my son had cooked something the other day, and it had bell peppers in it, which taste of soap for me since a couple of months. And just understanding that he spent all that time, and that I couldn't really fully appreciate what he'd made because I didn't taste it the way it should, that kind of stuff. So anyway, see, my clients, when I was still working with groups and coaching, always said, you put in a quarter and then you get $100 worth of verbal diarrhea, I was going to say. Okay, shall we close? It's 7 here in France. I just want to see a couple of, let me see, a couple of last things. I just don't want to ignore what you're saying. And there's still 43 people. It's incredible. I don't know where all these people are coming from. You're a 20-year breast cancer thriver this year. Wow, Carolyn. Yes. And sometimes, it's, yeah. It's I don't know. I can't find the words to say what I'm trying to say with it, because I'm afraid it will come out wrong. But it shouldn't be necessary to live that kind of experience, right? To truly appreciate it. And yet most people only learn to appreciate it that way when something like this has happened. Yes. Emmeline have COVID right now, but thankfully still taste food. Oh, good. Yes. Maybe it's changed. I don't know. I don't know, whatever that variant was called. Doesn't really matter. Maybe you should do real estate business by doing ads in your channel for farmhouses. I don't know if I'd be very good at that. And I think ads. Oh, you mean like I should actively get involved in that? I don't know. I don't think, maybe you already get ads for that. I don't know. I have no control over what ads YouTube shows to people. Yes, maybe you should do real estate. Oh, you typed that twice. I'm not far from you. You live in North Isère. Yes, that is. I don't really know how far away that is. Refocusing and repurposing our life. That was what pandemic taught us. And your channel is an inspiration, as we too are still in a process. Yes, well, we're all still in a process. Hi from Seattle. That's far away. Oh, you mean process of creating your home? Yes. Oh, I just keep talking. I said we would just have a drink and listen. Here's the church bells. Can you hear them? Can you hear them or not? Yes, you can. And I love you. If you're like fellow countryside lovers, they ring every hour. So they ring like when it's 2 o'clock. The bell goes twice. It rings twice. Then 2 minutes wait, and then it rings twice again, like as if it's trying to help us. Oh, I didn't count this time. And I've actually started using the bells to know what time it is. Like when I hear the first one, I go, oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's 4. It's so wonderful. And then at 7 in the morning, noon, and 7 in the evening, like this, they ring like this. So they don't just give the hour, but they ring. I'm just enjoying that. And I like to imagine that, like, I don't know how many days, years ago, when people didn't have these this would be the sign, like, start heading home, start wrapping up the work in the field, the dinner's probably already on the stove, and start heading home. I don't know, are you like that? Like, you're romantic, you're just trying to think of, sometimes I think of just try to imagine what the world was like when there was no electricity and no internet connections and not all of these cables that you see everywhere. And how did people go through their day? Like, the church was a reference, not even the religion. I'm not talking about religion, but just the bells, and all the crosses that you find here. And I talked about that a little bit in the video. Blah, 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 blah. You faintly hear them, Sarah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's that too makes me think of my grandfather, by the way, because they lived in a small village, and whenever I would go there as a child, I'd be in their little guest room and hear their bells. So that's, I think, I don't know. It's just all of these things help us have sweet memories from some time in our life. I don't know. I love that countryside vibe. Okay. I discovered your channel just recently and love it. I or two or you. They live the slow living lifestyle, but not by choice. That's right. Yes. And I think I'm not anti-progress. I think every age has their own lessons, has its own lessons. Every generation has its own contribution to the bigger evolution, right, of the humankind and of the planet and everything around it. So any progress, really, even if we think it is negative, it is progress. And I think a progress, like any growth path, doesn't necessarily go like this, right? So when these came and communication came, it's created so many opportunities for our world. And now we're at this point where we say, like, oh, but everybody's on their phones and people don't feel connected anymore. But it's like a swing or a pendulum that's going from one, and then it, oh wow, this is wonderful, and now everybody's on their phones all the time. But it will find that balance again. It is all still progress. Progress doesn't look like this. Progress looks like this. Yeah. So they were living a slow lifestyle, but not by choice. And I think we're trying to, what I'm trying to do is understand what the benefits of living like that were, and what I'd like to incorporate into my life, right? What, living with that clock. We're doing an experiment in our home and try not to turn on the lights. So far, I'm the only one doing it. Everybody's going to their room and turn the lights on. And just to see how that changes our evenings. Like, what do you do? Huh? Donna says, I can relate on the bells. I didn't know what they were for until my husband told me. Well, so what were they for? Because I'm just guessing that that's what they were for. And what I also really love, and Olaf said yesterday, I think there's something with the bells. When somebody passes away in our village or in our community, the bells ring differently every 2 or 4 minutes before the hour. And that's from the moment somebody passes away until the funeral or the whatever that's called. So that's how we know someone in our community has passed away. And that is, it's like you said, it's such a part of communal living. Yeah, about what time it was. Anyway, you're still here. There's still 45 people here. I'm kind of waiting until everybody's going. Like, okay, we gotta head off to somewhere else. Okay, so let me just finish then with that question. What would you like me to share more of in the videos, and what kind of things would you love to be doing or talking about in a live? Because I really love meeting you this way. And of course, we're not really talking. I started, some of you have maybe read that or seen that or heard that in the videos. Since I still have my real business, I started a small group in which we do a virtual alignment retreat. And then we get together. That starts tomorrow. That group that started in the summer is continuing a second 2 months. And then we just really hop online with all of our faces and talk. But then the focus is on finding more alignment in life. And I just love that, because I think some people found me through this channel as well. And then we really have this experience that I can actually see your faces again, or as well. Now, I see your names, but many of you don't have a face. So anyway, 48 people. I think I just have to call it a day, and start preparing some dinner maybe. Just thank you so much for being here. I have no clue how you found me, but I'm very grateful that you're here and that you're tuning in on this live and on the videos that I post. And do let me know what you're doing, what you want to see, what you think of the videos. It makes me feel connected. If any of you ever maybe dream about YouTube, I can tell you the level that I'm at, you're not getting rich. That's not why I'm here. And I know, yes, of course, a comment will help, but that's not the intention. I want to just feel this connection. So I'm happy. The man with the golden hands just cooked dinner. Can you see this? Oh, this is mirrored. Olaf said, the man with the golden hands just cooked dinner. So you're secretly listening in on this live, Olaf, on the other end in the house. Oh, Rick says hi. Rick says that you should have been here. Didn't you, Rick? Brocantes, yes, Katrien. I don't really go to Brocante that much because it's overwhelming. Too many people. That's for a high sensitive person that I am. That's a little too much. But I do go to our Emmaus a lot. I have some filming, I think, that I haven't shared that will be in one of the next vlogs. I love hearing your philosophy and descriptions of finding a in a modern world with your quiet French life. Yeah, it is quite a challenge, but thank you. I do. I mean, it's just who I am, so I do throw in a little bit of that every once in a while in a video. More info about your immigration, buying a house in France. Yes, immigration. Yeah, that's you would say that if it's all European Union, that would be easy. But because I had a business in the Netherlands that I wanted to keep in the Netherlands, our situation was pretty complicated, but I can definitely do a video about that. And the business is in France now, and that's for that reason. It was too complicated. I enjoy all you show, Marloes, cooking and going out and about. Thank you. This has been lovely. Yes, this has been lovely. Thank you to all of you. I am going to see what dinner you're having. I'll try to talk Olaf. Please say yes, please, if you feel Olaf should be on the next live. And if you follow Olaf, no, we're not going to push him to do something he doesn't want. But thank you. I wish you a wonderful weekend. I hope you're going to spend it with people that you love and make some time to Frenchify your weekend if you get an opportunity this weekend. And I'll be back soon with another live like this. So we'll figure something out that makes us happy. Thank you, everyone. And merci pour ce moment. Thank you. That's nicely said in French. Yes, please. I'll give Olaf the message. See you next time in a new video, boys. Guys, boys. That's what I say to my son. See, it's time to hang up. I'm getting all because I'm trying to read. Salut! That's it for now.